What's up, family? Welcome back to the Stop Sinking Show, where we go from struggle to flow. At any given time, we all have our burdens to bear. No one is exempt from that. It might look differently for you than it does for someone else, but rest assured, all weight is relative, and we all get our fair share of demands put on us relative to the size of our life and what we can handle. We all get put to the test by being taken to the brink of what we can handle. That brink, that edge is different for everyone, but nonetheless, your personal boundaries will be tested. And how you view that when that happens, how you actually perceive it, the story you tell about those times will determine whether you keep expanding, whether you keep trying to revisit boundaries, the edges that will be ever expanding and force you to go out even further and further into the landscape. The story you tell to yourself about your last experience in which you were tested, brought to the brink, stretched, broken, maybe even beaten down to your knees, the story you tell yourself about that will determine your trajectory. In all pain, there is a blessing. And you can multiply that blessing if not only do you extract the specific lesson from that painful experience, but also if you use that experience to contribute to the overall tolerance and willingness to go into and encounter more painful situations. That's a blessing on top of a blessing. It's a longer term building up, callousing of you that over time will allow you to bear even bigger burdens, if you so desire, if you want that for yourself. I'm learning that some people have decided on their limits already of what is bearable for them. So if you ever become capable of bearing burdens that grow, then it will have come from your own choosing. No one else can sign you up for pain you don't want to go through. Thereby, no one else can force you through the growth that pain would lead to. This is a voluntary pursuit. This willingness alone is what sets men apart. Just the willingness. He who will sign up to suffer more and longer will naturally have more enduring prowess than he who feels all the external pressure but no internal drive to sign up and be there. You have to arrive at this place yourself. Who else can tell you what is worth suffering for but you, who are the one who has to go through the suffering yourself? But if you do, there is much to see. Blessed is the one who is expected to carry a burden. Even more blessed are those that feel it within themselves, the pull to carry a higher load without any external expectation. For many of us, remain in lives too small because the weight that we have chosen to carry is only that of ourselves. And your muscles don't really need to grow that big or be that strong to handle most of your body weight in normal movements. Your body weight is not enough to make you strong enough to carry larger loads. Unless you really challenged yourself with acrobatic, calisthenic type movements where you work against your leverages to emphasize load on specific muscles that hold you or move you. Meaning, again, if you want to grow, you would have to ramp up the suffering, ramp up the load, the demands. Or you can get by with very little lean mass and be relatively fit enough to carry your own load. You're just not going to be really built to carry anyone else's. God forbid there's a fire, you'll just be able to save yourself. I heard this religious scholar say something so beautiful that I'll try to translate poorly. He says, "Fortunate am I who has been fated to be given the pain of betrayal. Only the most fortunate, the ones with the most kismet, that received the wound of betrayal. He who has been given a betrayer in his life is the most blessed. He says what keeps you going is to remember God has chosen me for this pain. This pain is written in my fate. What good fortune is it of mine that God has chosen me to write this pain of betrayal into my fate. This is not a given to every man. God only hands this wound to the most fortunate. Most of us don't live a life large enough with enough existence to attract any significant betrayal, because the lesson that a betrayal leaves you with, the lessons you learn from the betrayer, the lessons from the cruelty, no book can teach you. No course in this planet exists that can take you to the same depth of understanding. How blessed are you to have been betrayed? How blessed are you to have received the wounds of betrayal? Every bit of burden you have been given, it is a blessing in disguise. You were chosen to carry it. God chooses his most capable soldiers, and the way that he brings out their capability is to put them through the fire to forge them. You do not become strong overnight. You are given difficulties in which you develop strength through overcoming weakness. It is you working through your weak points, hitting your limitations, feeling where it hurts, where you fall short. It is all those places you are brought to so that you develop that capability into actuality, your potential into substance. Even if you want to reconcile this another way, because I can contradict this entire premise while still driving home the same point. An ordinary man looks at everything as a blessing or a curse. An extraordinary man, the capable one, looks at everything as a challenge or a crisis. So even if you don't look at this as an assignment from God or a blessing or a curse, in all practicality, any weight put on you, any challenge you must go through that you willingly meet the challenge of will bring you out on the other side a better, more capable, stronger human. And that is a blessing because you make it one. I love you, family. Stay true always. I'll see you on the next show.